I have opened my Zoom app. I'm going to schedule a meeting that's going to happen in the future. In other words, I'm not starting this meeting right now. I want to schedule it maybe for next Monday in the afternoon. So I'm going to click on schedule with a little calendar icon. And then I'll name it something different, something that makes sense for that particular meeting. Maybe this meeting I'm scheduling might be just for ASMRI students that are in my algebra class currently, and we're going to do an exam review or some type of Q&A. Whatever you're doing, name it accordingly. It's recommended not to put in a date. If you want to make a recurring meeting, it may be a little confusing to add a date in the titles. So I'm going to have this meeting, maybe I'll do this Monday at 4 p.m. You can go way into the future if you need to. We sometimes would need to do that. So then maybe I want it only to last for an hour. I'm going to have Zoom generate a meeting ID automatically. Okay, and so it's just a little extra layer of security. There will be a passcode, but here's the cool thing. The passcode, they don't have to enter if they have the invite link, okay? So you're going to post the invite link, the invitation link in your forum post, as I'll show you in a minute. So you'll have this extra layer of security. I like to use a waiting room, especially if I have to take attendance. If you end up with someone who's not supposed to be in your meeting, you don't have to admit them into the meetings. If you have just a small group, you can wait for all your students to be in the waiting room, check attendance, and let everybody in all at one time, or you can let everybody into the meeting one at a time, whatever you need to do. It's just a handy little option. I'm going to go ahead, and when I start my meeting, I want my video to be off. That way I can make sure the background I'm using and the lighting, everything's okay. You just want to be able to turn the video on when you know you're ready. Audio, I like to give them telephone and computer audio options. Okay, I'm going to save this. Here we go, scheduled my meeting. Back to the home screen of Zoom. Go along the top or where you see home, chat, meetings, contacts, whiteboards. I'm going to click on meetings. Now on the left hand side, I can see all the meetings I have set up for the future. This is what I was just working on. I can click on that and you'll see that options for this meeting will come up. I can start it. I can also copy the invitation. I'm going to go ahead and click that. Yay, it's copied. You can also go back in and edit your settings, or you can delete that meeting altogether. So let's go on, and now I know that I have my invitation copied. I can go on into Moodle, and I will go ahead and post this in the general forum for a class to join me at that date. So I'm in the general forum of one of my courses. I'm going to add a new discussion topic. Future exam review can be my title. I'm going to go ahead and just paste that meeting into the general forum post. If you live in a different time zone, you may want to consider changing. For example, I'm in Central and most of my students are in Pacific. Be very aware of your time zones. Again, I'm going to make sure that I highlight this link. I'm going to copy it. And what I'll do is leave it highlighted. I'm going to come up and click on link and paste into link URL the correct link. Open in a new window and click update. And so now students can just click on that link and they won't have to enter an ID or passcode. It'll take them straight into the waiting room or into the meeting. And then of course you can make other adjustments to this message as you would like. So post a forum. Hopefully you have a great meeting. It's changed to alert me to the fact I'm about to start a meeting. I'm going to go ahead and start the meeting. Join with computer audio. I can go in here immediately. I like to come right here and see who's here. So usually you can see who's in your meeting right here, participants. So it's just me for now. and see the people who are waiting. Now Mark is my student's here and he's in the waiting room. And since he's on my list, I'm going to go ahead and admit him in. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Karen. Great to be here.
I'm so glad you could join me. So I'm going to just look at the options available to us, my point of view as the presenter, and Mark's point of view from where he is student. We have the mute button. I can mute myself. This does not mute him. It mutes me. I can stop my video. I can start my video. There's also security. I mentioned using a waiting room, and I did that, Mark, before. When you entered the meeting, you were in a holding space. And that's good for security. It's great if you have to call roll. It's great for attendance and security. So we can get more into that at another time too. Allow participants. Here I can allow Mark to share his screen if he'd like to. We all can chat at any time, which that's down here. There's a chat feature. I want him to be able to rename himself. If you have a student who signs in under a name or just a code, some people just use the beginning of an email address to sign in. But you do want your students to use their name. Because what if you have to go to the documentation after the meeting just to see who's there? If you have a very large class.
A lot of younger students will use a nickname, they'll use a gamer name.
Absolutely. Yes.
And I'm always a little, curious, is this a student or is this someone who's trying to, enter in to the classroom that shouldn't be there?
This is another one of Zoom's ways of improving their security features.
Right.
Okay.
I'd like to, can I share one thing that I find
Yes,
really
please.
Underneath reactions, I believe there's the ability, correct, to raise the hand. Do you see that on your end?
Yes, reactions. You can do all this. You can clap, you can thumbs ups, you can enjoy, you can express all kinds of different things. And the very biggest icon is raise hand. So
yeah, and the raise hand,
great.
All of them are really nice, especially the larger room you have. If someone says something, you can say put +1 in the chat or hit the heart of the celebration, button.
Yeah.
But the raising the hand one I find to be really helpful when you're having a discussion, because then what I like in the presenter mode is in the top left, it usually lists them out in terms of who hit it first. So you can go, okay, we'll go, Michael, Jose, Rebecca, and then you actually know the role of who's going to be speaking. And that's just helpful for not talking over each other with the microphone.
And when I raise my hand, you can see that there's a little hand that comes up next to my name and the participants link. So that's handy too.
I think you can even change the skin color of it.
You can. You can change the skin tone. Beautiful. Okay, so there's a chat feature. Like before I said with the security, I enabled my students to be able to chat. A lot of people like to let their students ask questions or type in questions while the lecture is going on. And that way the lecturer can go after they're done speaking or finishing the thought, and they can go and see if there are any questions that came up. Then there's share screen. If I want to share the screen, as an instructor, you're going to have these basic options. You can share your whole screen. There's a whiteboard that'll come up. I like to use advanced, and I'll share like a portion of my screen. And that way I can kind of control it while I'm presenting. You click on it and you click share, and voila. Can you see that?
I can, yes. I like the headshot.
So there's that. And you can still see that your Zoom controls are still available. They'll pop open when I scroll over them so that it'll disappear if I move my mouse. If I put my mouse back here down at the bottom of the screen, the Zoom controls do pop back up. You can pause your share, but I'm going to go ahead and stop the share, and I'm back.
What are the top 3 that you find yourself using the most?
I find that I use the share screen advanced and this portion of the screen that I just showed. If you see this link, it says whiteboards. There's new whiteboard. I have some previous whiteboard that I actually have used. And look, I'll open this one up.
Please don't make me complete that problem.
No, you're good. But you can see that I can come back to it and I can write on it some more. And so you have a lot of options with that. Here's your controls. If you guys have ever used Liveboard, and by the way, Liveboard is another app that I use very often for a virtual office. There's your controls right here. You can see text and lines and different things that you can share. See, I can take this here to the annotate option, and you can select that you want to draw. Select this little wavy line, and I can draw. Okay, it's not as smooth because I have a lot of CPU power being used right now, but it usually is pretty smooth. Again, I can change to my line width, I can change the color. I can also switch to the mouse so that I can come back out and use whatever's on the screen. I can click things again, but you do want to switch between mouse and draw to come back to your annotation. Those are the ones I use the most, like when I'm having the one-on-one live help sessions and tutorials.
Very helpful.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of things you can do. You can there's really a lot of options. There's a lot of apps that you can actually sign into and use in coordination with Zoom in particular. But I had mentioned Liveboard, and I really do like to use that one a lot. I think you're mostly limited by your imagination and some CPU usage. What about you? What do you use?
Well, I mean, when I use Zoom, a lot of times it's when I bring a lot of people together, and so when I'm running the classroom, the reactions is the most important to me. I often too, today, if I'm doing something where people are working something on real time, right? I say take 2 minutes to answer this question or reflect on this journal prompt or something along those lines. I'll go to share screen, and I'll actually, or I'll already have this loaded. You can, instead of sharing screen, you can share audio, music audio.
Right.
And you can do that without actually sharing the screen as well. You can just choose background music or I think it says, what is it? I don't have it. They built
computer audio. We're taking a look at it.
I choose that, and I often put on, light classical music.
That's a great idea. That helps
use
learning.
Spotify to play some music in the background or Apple Music, and then I'll put the music on, and then when I shut off the music, the students already know, okay, time to come back.
What a great idea, and actually it's wonderful.
Thank you so much for this. This is great. Really appreciate it, Karen.
No problem. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye. So here's an email that I received from Zoom, and it has a copy of the link that I need to be able to share with my students so they can view a recording of our meeting. I will highlight that and copy it. Then I'll go into the general forum, add a new discussion topic in general forum, and I'm just going to go ahead and paste into this message. Of course, I'm going to adjust what I need to adjust. And then, of course, we'll post it to the forum.